Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's version of Nichols and Dimes, our weekly video series. The quote of the week this week comes from Investopedia. Investopedia, the very popular website, where it talks about fiduciaries. What on earth is a fiduciary? Many of you know what it is, some of you don't, so I thought I'd address it today. A fiduciary is a person or organization that acts on behalf of another person or persons to manage assets. Essentially, it's the highest legal duty of one party to another. Being a fiduciary requires being bound ethically to act in the other's best interests. To act in the other's best interests. This is the definition of a fiduciary. Did you know that 53%, this stat actually comes from Business Wire, 53% of Americans mistakenly believe that all financial advisors are required to legally put the best interests of their clients ahead of their own. 53% of Americans believe that is already the case for all advisors. That is not the case. So there are two different types of advisors. First, the old model, if you will, where the broker or registered representative was really working on behalf of his parent company or the firm he worked with. Many of those financial products that were recommended were sold via commission, and that advisor's job was simply to recommend something that was suitable. So those folks for years and years and years, and there's plenty of folks that operate under that standard today, operate under what's called the Suitability Standards. So again, they generally charge commissions. They just have to recommend something that is suitable for the client. Now the newer model, the more recent, more transparent model is the fiduciary model, if you will, where those folks, those advisors, operate under the standard where they're required by law to put the client's interest ahead of their own. So get a big distinction between the traditional advisor, who generally works or oftentimes works for the banks or large wirehouse firms. They operate under what's called the suitability standard, and at least more recently in the last 5 to 10 years, the industry moving more towards a fiduciary role where that advisor is legally required to put the client's best interests ahead of their own. Now, let me give you 2 points to consider. And when you go speak with your advisor, ask them these 2 questions. There's others to ask, but just to determine if they're a fiduciary advisor or not. Just the first thing is just ask them, are you a fiduciary advisor? If they respond with maybe a lack of confidence or you don't feel confident in their response, maybe you look elsewhere. The second thing is in terms of fee transparency. Number one, many brokers charge fees and commissions that are buried in financial products, so oftentimes there's not as much transparency with the typical registered rep or broker. So again, ask them what kind of fees and or commissions they're charging. With a fiduciary advisor, everything's disclosed up front and everything is transparent. With that fiduciary advisor. Again, very big distinction. So that's the first thing you really want to look at. What type of fees are in commissions they're charging. And again, the first point is again, what type of standard they operate under, the suitability standard or again the fiduciary standard. So 2 important distinctions. So I thought I'd share that with you today. To that end, if you would like a second opinion on your portfolio or financial situation, if you would like more clarity on determining if your advisor is a fiduciary, you could send me an email at cnichols@nicholswealth.com or go on our website at nicholswealth.com to learn more. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well. Certainly stay safe and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.